Well, I came into the classroom and I was cool because my mom wanted me to be introduced to the class, so I crawled in.
On my first day, I was walking around and I saw Sasha and she was crying for some reason in the bathroom. And I asked her why she was crying and she said she couldn't turn on the tap to wash her hands and I turned it on for her. And we just somehow became best friends.
In year 3 and I was crying around the back of room 27 and Madison was trying to make me laugh by dancing and then she fell over.
And when we went to camp and we were doing raft building, Sewolin helped us in, but he didn't make it, so then Savannah's mum Lorelei helped us in and I got stuck underneath the ramp leading this girl and this girl. I remember when I met these two, they're my besties now.
I remember when I first came to do Moana and I met these guys and they greeted me with their big smiles and yeah, I felt really welcome back again.
It was on the Burma Trail. I was going with Felix. Mr. One leapt out of a bush and grabbed me by the leg and I screamed so loud that people at the cabins could hear it.
I remember that with this guy we used to really not like each other and we did not get along, but in this year we basically just became friends. I remember when I was changing classes from year 4 to year 5. It was basically the same classes. I got really upset because I really wanted to make new friends.
I remember in year 3, I got fake cockroaches and I gave some to Giovanni to put in her book and Mrs. McKelvey screamed and threw the book in the air and it went everywhere.
I remember in year 5, it was my first day and Giovanni had to show me around the school and then I was really scared of her and I was silent the whole way, but now she's like my best friend.
Oh, thanks! My memory is Langford Lee Jimson by 122 and I thought he was quite funny, and with William I met him this year.
And this year term we had a lot of activities at camp.
At camp, the raft building, when the raft flipped, I was the only one not getting wet.
I remember in year 1, when the lunch hour went, instead of getting my lunchbox, I got my whole bag and went to room 18 because that's where my dad was teaching. And I usually say goodbye to Mrs. Antonovich. So after when I walked into room 18, I went back to go say goodbye to Miss Antonovich. And when I said goodbye, Mrs. Antonovich said, "No, it's still class time, come back inside."
I just really enjoy going to football zonals with Mr. Walland and that was great fun, yeah.
I remember when I went to the soccer zonals with my best friends.
I remember at camp there was a Burma Trail and everyone was scared and they were just screaming and some were even crying.
I went to the netball zonals. We came second against Freiburg.
Mr. Wallen said, Joel, let's test your wetsuit. So he dumped me in the water and I was cold.
I remember on my first day here, Joe asked me if I was staying the whole day and I said no. And we just started crying because I wasn't going.
I remember in year 1, Miss Telfer wrote book comments like super effort, but I didn't get one, so I was really jealous.
I remember when Miss Telfer almost fell over because when she came in, she was on her really high heels and she almost fell over.
I remember when Miss Telfer always let us play on the playground when we weren't supposed to.
Parakai, and it was fun.
In year 3, I asked Mrs. Cashmore if I could go to the bathroom and I was busting, so I ran to the girls' bathroom.
This year for the cross country, I achieved well because in year 3 I was not that good at running and I've improved.
The zonal we went to was softball.
The first Walking Wednesday I had when year 6 wrote a number on my hand and they started calling the numbers out on the speaker and it was my first time winning.
I remember in year 1 when I walked into class and Tom Tom was like on the other side of the room and he walks up to me and he goes, "Oh, you look handsome today." And I look at him and I start crying because I thought it was a bad thing.
I remember in year 2, I brought on my lizard for show and tell, and then I lost it, and then I went looking for it, and then a few minutes later I found it and it bit my finger.
I remember on my first day, Jessie walked up to me and said, "Welcome to Te Ui Moana."
In year 1, me and my friends, when they were calling out the Walking Wednesday numbers, we would cross everything, and then if we didn't get one of the numbers, we would cry.
I remember in year 1 when it was my first day at school, and Vita, he was on the Star of the Day chair, and then when I came in, I stole his throne by sitting on it.
Last year, me and Babish were friends, and we just started laughing every day, all day.
But at athletics, I came 4th and I achieved to go to the athletic zonals. And then when I had my first race, I came 4th again.
I remember when Mr. Duckett was still at Te Ui Moana, he came as Santa
for our EITC in year 5 and 4, and we went out and made like rocket out of bottles and ate burgers and stuff. It was really fun.
I remember in year 1 on my first day when I thought 15 minutes of the day was long enough, so I ran out of the room yelling, "I'm going to West Wave!"
I remember in year 1, Miss Telfer had a teddy that she was giving out, and while everyone wanted it, and while everyone was deciding, I just went up and grabbed it, so I got to keep it.
I remember in year 1, I thought I was going to get teased for wearing glasses, but the next day all my friends went to their doctors to see if they needed them.
Getting distinction in my ICAS maths.
My favourite teacher was Mrs. Christensen.
Okay, I remember in year 0, on my first day, I was late. So it was like morning tea, and I saw these, that became my friends. They were playing cops and robbers, so I asked them if I could play, but they said no. So my dad asked, and then they said yes.
When I was in room 8, Mr. Brown was making juice for us, and I had my juice, but I spilt it all over me when I drank it because the cup was too big.
Year 6 camp, I was in a skit, and it was this beauty thing, and it didn't go too well. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.